the Goffstown.
It hasn't started yet.
Oh, okay.
Sounded great.
Excuse me. I didn't see the on button. It is on now. Good evening. My name is Alan Yates, I'm Chairman of the Zoning Board, and welcome this evening to the October meeting of the Goffstown Zoning Board. I'd like to go around and have the staff and members of the board introduce themselves.
I'm Jonathan Ork, the Planning and Zoning Administrator.
I'm Emily Sandblade, member.
Leonard Stewart, alternate.
Gail Breck, vice chairman.
Kathy Hooton, member.
Jeff Coventry, alternate.
Alan Yates, Chair. Good evening. I'd like to take just one thing. I'd like to start out this meeting with a pledge of allegiance to the flag. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Just a couple short housekeeping duties here. It's what we usually talk about at the beginning of each meeting. The Goffstown Zoning Board is an elected board of 5 members and up to 5 appointed alternates. Currently, the board has 5 elected members and 2 alternates. If anybody is interested in serving on the ZBA, please see Jonathan O'Rourke, the planning director, for more information. The board has a posted agenda for each meeting and intends to follow the items in order. The board will open the public hearing on an application to receive testimony from applicants, abutters, and affected parties, and ask questions about the appeal. The public hearing will then be closed, and the board will enter into a deliberative session to discuss the merits of the appeal. For each application, the board will decide to approve with conditions, deny, or continue to a later meeting. You are welcome to watch the deliberations this evening, or you can contact Mr. O'Rourke at Town Hall to get the results tomorrow. For an application's request to be approved, there must be an affirmative vote of at least 3 members. An applicant can request a continuance if there is not a full 5-member board to act on an application. If you are aggrieved by a decision made by the ZBA tonight, you have the right to appeal to the Superior Court. However, before appealing to the Superior Court, you must request a rehearing with this board to preserve your right to appeal. Rehearing requests must be filed within 30 days of the decision and state all the reasons why the decision was illegal or unreasonable. Failure to request a rehearing may forfeit your ability to appeal to Superior Court. Having said that, welcome this evening to everybody in the audience. Just a consideration for the minutes for last month. Anybody have any corrections, a motion for approval, or a second?
I make a motion to approve the minutes of September 13th.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Emily Sandblade. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions?
Well, we have an issue because we have 6 of us here, so one of the alternates should be a designated voter for the minutes. And then maybe they can alternate one after the other.
Well, I understand, I was going to do that on the hearings, but
Okay.
I'm not particularly concerned about the minutes. Thank you. We have a motion for approval, and they've been approved. Thank you. Okay, first hearing. Alice Belanger, applicant owner, is seeking a variance to replace an existing portion of the garage that will be built 3 feet from the side property line, whereas 15 feet setback is required. This concerns Section 4.3, Table of Dimensional Regulations of the Goffstown zoning ordinance. The property is located at 8 Fairview Street, map 17, lot 87, zoned residential 2. Ms. Belanger, would you like to come up and present to the board?
to designate a voting alternate?
Yes, ma'am. Len, you be first. Jeff, you be second.
Sounds fine.
And I'll make a motion to find this application has no regional impact.
I'll
Do I hear a
that
second?
one. Yep, I'll
All
second it.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion carries unanimously. Ms. Belanger, you have the floor.
Okay, I'm basically asking to upgrade and replace an existing addition that's on the back of my garage. Due to its deterioration, it's probably been there a good 35, 40 years, and it just is time to, I would like to upgrade it, put new sides, windows, doors, and roof on it, put a concrete floor, and basically in the same location that it is now, not any bigger or smaller, same size. I want to basically tear it down and rebuild it. And I don't know if any of you have pictures or...
Can you address for the board the required contents of your application? That is, can you address the 5 points of granting the variance, which are on 1, 2, 3, page 2 of your application, ma'am?
Okay, I guess it doesn't meet the required setback. Just on one side of the structure. The other side has like 17 feet, and then plenty in the back. Let's see, it would be a positive enhancement and aesthetically pleasing to the site, and would improve the values of neighborhood properties. The structure was built, I guess, in around the 60s. Let's see, it will also allow for structure to be replaced according to proper building procedures and codes, and will make it safer, especially for snow loads. It will upgrade and enhance the appearance of the building, and again, add to the property values. And let's see, it will not change, alter, affect, or change the surroundings. The building will remain in the same footprint and size. It's basically used for cold storage, lawn equipment, snow blowers, tools. I have a small trailer that I put in there, and it's all used to maintain the property. Let's see. Okay, and it says, one side of the structure does not meet the required setbacks. All other sides have adequate setbacks. The garage and addition need to be re-roofed due to estimates to the roof. It would be more cost-effective to redo the addition, which includes re-roofing. It's kind of what all started. I wanted to roof the, it needs to be re-roofed, but because of the addition being in such poor shape, I wanted to redo it and then do the whole roof. Because of the cost, it just, I could do the addition for twice the cost of what the roof, it would cost me just to roof the garage.
Members of the board, do they have any questions of the applicant?
I do.
Yes.
Go ahead.
You are.
Under the record of ownership, it shows for many years that it's been owned by Belangers.
Yes,
Is that your family?
yes. I purchased the home about 16 years ago from my mother,
Well,
which was, they purchased in '46, and the house was there probably since '25, according to the deed. And it's been actually upgraded and added to several times.
so is this the original part of the garage from when your relatives owned it?
Yes,
When it was first built? Or first owned by them, I guess?
yes, it's been there, yes. When I purchased it, it was there, yeah. Like I said, it was probably there at least a good 40 years.
I have one observation.
Yes, sir.
The picture is wrong on your tax card.
Yes,
It is. I noticed that.
Which tax?
It was all in everybody's setbacks.
Oh, they have the wrong house?
They have the wrong house.
The wrong house. Well, it didn't match.
Oh, really? I didn't know that, I
I
guess.
kept looking.
Here's your next
Got the
door
right
neighbor.
number, but the picture didn't.
Oh, okay, that's across the street.
It's the one that, no?
Nope, I
It's the
can't.
one next door, it used to be green.
Oh, yes, Valley, Mr. Valley next door.
Yes.
He had his garage just built recently, okay.
So anyways,
Just wondered.
Yeah, I'm next door.
Emily, do you have any questions?
No, I'm fine.
Lynn?
And just to clarify,
Yes, sir.
you're only talking about tearing down the added portion of the garage, the
That's
dirt
correct.
floored addition in the rear,
Right,
and
not,
replacing that, putting a concrete floor in and rebuilding in place on the same footprint.
yes, exactly.
That was going to be my question, just a confirmation.
Yeah, not the whole garage, just the addition, yep, which is behind it.
Jeff?
I have a couple questions.
Sure.
I've seen on a lot of the applications that they say that it'll enhance the values of the neighborhood. Has that ever been really proven in any way? Or, we hear this being used, but do we actually know? I mean,
I would think that the case would be is a newer structure would certainly not deteriorate or lower values of the property.
Okay.
I mean, when I looked at this property, it was one of the nicest kept ones in the whole neighborhood.
Yeah. I saw
Compared
that
to
too.
across the street,
I saw
look
that.
on the neighbors.
I was thinking about the one across the
That's,
street.
Yeah.
that's okay, that's my right.
Yeah.
So,
The only other thing, my question was the flat roof. I saw someplace that you're going to put 2 layers down of roofing over that. You're rebuilding the roof in that, right?
What he's going to do is pitch it so it'll slope just a little more, the addition part, because right now the water does puddle on the end. It needs to be lowered just a little bit, just so it'll slope.
But he's putting a whole new roof on for you anyway, all right? You're
Right,
getting
he
new
will, right.
joists and plywood and all that.
Yes,
Okay, so that's going to slope away pretty good then.
exactly, yeah.
Okay. I have another one here. It's not a big concern. Oh, I know what it is. Where the structure is now, and it's got 3 feet to the fence. And if he's rebuilding the structure, why wouldn't the new structure become the 15 feet setback? Why wouldn't that apply? Where the land, it looked like it's big enough, so it would actually be 15 feet on one side and then 24 feet left on the other side. That's just, those may not be exactly the right numbers, but, so I'm wondering what, if you offset it, 15 feet came to the first window from the left, about a foot past that was 15 feet. And my question is, why wouldn't you just move it over to meet the setback, which actually would open up the front of your I'm going to call it a tool shed, a tool garage, that you would have access from into the front of it too. So it's just a question.
I think from the plans here, they also want to be able to access it from the garage itself.
Okay,
All right, so they were going to take out one of those windows, I guess, and put
Make
a
it a
door in
door.
it so that they could have immediate access from inside the garage at the same
Okay.
time. So to offset it probably may or may not have been very
I'd
effective.
also think that it might, Jeff, possibly bring extra cost into land excavation.
Okay.
Because where it's existing, and that
Mhm.
could be a hardship possibly of doing additional excavation.
is
I
it,
almost see it as being, to be honest with you, a grandfathered situation. It's like a semi-grandfathered. We can't say it's really grandfathered because she purchased it from your
Your mom,
family.
right.
But it really has been inherent, from the beginning, and
Right.
that was the part that I brought out. So, that to me is an important factor of it, along with the fact as to what Al said, and also moving it could be more cost. And the door entrances in and out of the garage, I mean, for safety issues would be a good thing to have, I would think, too.
If it's laid out being 15 feet, they would have approximately 6 feet from the edge of the front garage to the right that they could put a door in, which includes that window. So I guess I'm just trying to find out also for myself that where it's being taken down, are we doing an injustice by saying that it can go back to 3 feet or stay at 3 feet, or does it have to meet today's setback requirements, which it could, but it's going to change where the building is. So I'm just,
I think I can answer that.
okay.
The offset that you're talking about
Mhm.
straddles the old property line that used to be lined up with the fence post. And so if you move it this way,
Yep.
there's actually an L shape in that back property line. It actually puts it close to the fence on the other side, cutting off the backyard from access from her house.
True. It's pretty close. There's not much left there.
No, there's not much left there.
Like a foot, so that would make sense. That would make sense. I guess I'm just trying to find out for myself, get a feeling of setbacks and how we can handle them.
The sketch in here is not quite right,
Okay.
okay? When
Yeah.
you look at that sketch, it's not quite
It's
correct.
not quite accurate, huh?
Len.
I would just say I don't think that we should be trying to design the project for them. I think it seems to me to be a reasonable request to rebuild a deteriorating structure in place without increasing the footprint, without increasing the nonconformance. Again, I just don't see a problem with the project as proposed.
At what point does the zoning board start addressing the setbacks and where they're,
Well, we have not been asked to design a solution other than what's been requested.
okay, so you're saying it's more of, don't move things, just it's 3 feet or it's not 3 feet.
That's what's before us tonight, but
Right.
the
Okay.
applicant could decide, if it was denied,
Right.
to reapply for a permit with something down differently.
Right, okay.
All right?
Yeah,
And
No,
if-
see,
And if I may, I would say, if it were new construction, I would be more concerned with the setbacks. When you're talking about rebuilding in place, I don't think it's an issue.
you've been very quiet, Gail. Do you have anything to add to this? All right. Is there anybody in the audience wishing to speak in favor of this application? Is there anybody in the audience wishing to speak against this application? Seeing none, do you have anything you'd like to add, Ms. Belanger?
No, I pretty much said what it is and what I'd like to do.
Then I will close the public hearing and open the discussion for the deliberations. Who would like to start? Emily?
Sure. We had a case last year where somebody replaced a house in the exact same footprint over on Elm Street, I believe it was. And I think that the only difference between that house and this situation is that house was basically falling down. It had deteriorated so badly. And what I'm wondering is why they didn't even need to get a permit to rebuild, much less a variance. And so I'm wondering why in the world we even have to grant a variance here.
Mind if I take that one?
Yes,
Take that one.
I'm looking at you, Jonathan.
I mean,
If the applicant, if the structure had come down by itself, act of God, some other reason besides choosing to take it down, that other property that you speak of did have significant issues, and it was an immediate safety hazard from my understanding. So if this structure came down by itself, she wouldn't have to be here. It could just be granted approval without seeking a variance. But since it's her choice, the applicant's choice to rebuild it, or replace it in kind, it doesn't technically fall under the grandfather clause. That's the hiccup.
so that's a hint here. Okay.
Now, we don't have a specific date on this addition, but I would think it's been there a while. I looked at it.
Oh.
The applicant allowed me to look inside, unlocked it, and I got inside of it, and it is what it is. It's utility pole supporting it,
No.
buried in the ground.
Well,
Well,
it looks
not
like,
wrong.
to me, it actually looks like the last piece of the house, the homestead, that needs to be, or you want to bring in conformity with the rest of the home that you have. And I agree with you, it's a beautiful home. And I can see where if I was the homeowner, that would be my next project to take care of, to bring everything in accordance to what my family home was. And that's my thoughts on this application.
Any further discussion, Len?
I'll make a motion to approve the variance as requested.
I'll second.
We have a motion on the floor and seconded. Any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Did you vote?
No, it was his
He's
turn.
the voter.
Use a voter.
Yeah, you designated me.
It's all your fault. Okay.
When I'm scot-free.
You are.
Motion has been passed unanimously. Have fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there, can I ask a question?
You can ask any question you want.
Are you going to appeal it?
Is there a time frame that I need to have this done, or is it,
No.
it's 2
Go
years.
see,
Mark?
go see Mark, the building inspector. You should be able to collect a permit. And I'm not sure what the time limits are on permits these days for what you're trying to do. 6 months?
I think it's a year.
I think it's a full year.
Substantial completion, yeah.
is he here?
And the
now?
variance-
Or tomorrow?
Yeah, were you guys before on the counter?
Yep.
You come back and see us again, we'll take care of that for you.
Okay, very good. Thank you, sir.
You're
Thank
very
you,
welcome.
everybody. Okay, good night. Oops.
Have a nice evening.
Thanks, you too.
The second
It's easy.
hearing this year, this tonight, is Edward Buck, applicant, and Teresa and Howard Leonard, owners, are seeking a variance to allow a deck to remain that was built within the side setback, rear setback, and with the inner 50 feet of the 100-foot wetland and surface water conservation district buffer along Mountain Base Road. This concerns Section 4.3, Table of Dimensional Regulations, 13.3 of the Wetlands Conservation District, and 13.3.3.5 of the Goffstown zoning ordinance. Another variance is required as the non-conforming structure will be increased in size and located on a Class 6 road that is not town-maintained. This concerns Section 14.9 and 14.9.2.1, non-conforming structures of the Goffstown zoning ordinance. The property is located at 23 McFarland Road, map 42, lot 58, zoned agricultural. Is the applicant here this evening?
Yeah.
Could I have you all speak up a little bit? Because I really couldn't hear any of you.
Well, we'll give it a shot. If you can't hear us, please let us know.
I'm having difficulty,
And he has a hearing aid.
and it's on high.
You're also soft-spoken.
Well, welcome this evening. Can you explain to me and
Yes,
to the
I
rest of
would
the board
love
what
to.
it is that you,
I would love to.
and
Ed Rourke could not be here because he installs sprinkler systems
yeah?
for a company, and if they're out of state, they stay overnight until they finish the job.
Okay.
So he could not be here. And he's my little culprit.
Okay. But could you
Okay.
take a moment and just introduce yourselves for the
Sure.
recording secretary, please?
Teresa Leonard.
And I'm Howard Leonard.
I got that.
Hopefully. I think I was the last time I looked.
He is. Okay, my problem arose when I was in the hospital, and this nice gentleman, Ed, who's a wonderful person, he's a very kind and thoughtful, a little gruff, but I was hoping he'd be here. When I got out of the hospital, he came over, and as he'd done many times, he's an excellent cook. He would bring Howard and I a dish to eat. He'll never give you the recipe, but the food is delicious. And he would do that frequently when I got home, like twice a week. He's that good of a person. He needed a place to stay temporarily, so he stayed at 23 McFarland. While he was there, mowed the lawn, fertilized the lawn, did all of that outside work. When I got home, he came over and he says, "Let me show you a picture," on his cell phone. It was the porch he built for me as a surprise. Now, there was a porch there because it's the second exit to get out of the house in case of a fire. We have the front, but we have the door and no porch. The porch that was there, we had to take down because we had to repair some of the front boards and the cement. And that was done. I just have not been able to get after anybody to build the porch. Well, he built it, did a beautiful job. These are exaggerated pictures, but they're wonderful. You can look at them if you want. It makes them look bigger than it is.
If you'd like to pass those around.
I'm sure.
Are these the
It's
same
over
ones?
30 feet from the water.
He's got them in the
Yeah, yeah,
packet.
Oh,
Okay,
you
At
got
least one of
some?
them.
we already
Yeah.
have
Thank
them.
you.
Yeah.
Or two of them.
All 4x8s or 2x8s or whatever. Of course, he handed me the lumber bill, but that's okay. His labor was free, and one of the new neighbors that bought the Venn's house next door helped him build it. So I have not even been over to the other side of the lake. We live on Mountain Base Road. I haven't been up to par. I don't know what to say, except I says to him, "Well, good, did you get a permit?" He said, "No, you had a porch there before." I said, "Ed, I think you need to get a rebuilding permit." Well, I didn't know, so I think he ran down the next day. And of course, you need a permit. Well, You can decide what you want. The structure's there except for stairs, so if there was a fire, they'd have to jump off the 5-foot porch. It was an error. He meant a good thing. He's not used to having to go to town halls because he's always rented to get a permit for this and a permit for that. We're used to it because we've been there almost 50 years. So I would like to have you reconsider my taking it down. It's far enough from the edge of the water. I have no abutters on either side that would complain. He's one of them on the right-hand side. I'm the other one on the left-hand side. Because there's 2 cottages there, and they're like 50 feet apart or more. So I would like you to reconsider. If you don't, that's fine, because it was built in mistake. But I would need to have something there for anybody to escape in a fire. The door is there, but I can't have them jump 8 feet. That wouldn't be too good of a proposition for whoever jumped. And the picture he showed me looked nice. He had a table with flowers and a lamp on one end. One of those, I don't know what you call them, but they sit in the water.
You mean the hot tub on the deck?
Yeah, the hot tub's on the other end, because they're young. What do you expect?
I have a question for you.
Sure.
If you don't mind. Since you've been around that area for 50 years,
Yeah.
you say? When we had the floods, how far up on that property, do you honestly, how far up did that water come? Well, how far up did that lake get?
How high does it get?
Yeah, when you had the floods.
We're lucky if it's 25 feet.
Okay, so the highest you've ever seen it like go up is like 25 feet?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, okay.
yeah. It's getting lower and lower.
Yeah,
as
it
the
is this
years go
year,
by.
huh?
I don't know if you've been up there, but boy, it is shrinking.
Yeah, I was up there.
Good project to have all of that wonderful wood trees taken out of there.
Oh.
I
okay.
hear they're worth $1 million. There'd be good tax money for you. Those logs are worth money.
Just to mention that, on Channel 9, what was his name? The gentleman that tells the short stories, he talked about the hurricane in '38. Well, I lived through that. I was, 12 years old. And the lumber that was cut, because they went up and cut down the fallen trees, they put them in the pond. And they now show on the shoreline all around the pond. And if somebody, I heard at one time that lumber like that has been submerged is worth money.
Big
If somebody
money.
get it up there and get those ugly logs out of the pond,
You'd have tax money for 50 years.
it's something.
Oh, I have
So,
treasure.
I mean, you must have, what, 60, 75 feet from the water line? On that, would to the end of the deck goes down to the water line?
Yeah, it doesn't go
60,
down to the
75.
water line.
No.
Oh.
From the edge of the deck, the outer edge of the deck.
No, it's all square,
Right.
yeah,
So if I was to go from the end of the deck and walk down to the water,
here,
yeah.
yeah.
To walk down to the
Oh,
water.
that's about 50
60,
feet,
75,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Because that's where he left an opening.
Len?
When you said that when he rebuilt this for you, there was a deck or a porch that
There
was
was a porch,
existing.
yeah.
Did
and
he
the stairs
expand,
were
did he
in front.
expand the size of this, or was it just a replacement of something of the same size that was there.
From the looks of it in the picture, like I said, I have not been over there. Not because I didn't want to, but I go for chemotherapy every week, and I just have not had the strength to do it. It's the porch that we had on it had stairs going down towards the water.
It was just a porch.
Now, at that time, there was no, how many feet you have to be from the water, because we had a dock there also.
How much
So-
bigger is this
One
one?
is-
How much bigger would you say this one is than the one before?
That one was a 6x6.
Okay.
It was basically
The
a
old
porch,
one.
set of steps.
I think this one, I don't know, but from the looks of it, I would say it's 6x8, because it's the length of the house on the narrow side.
In my picture, it says 8 by 25.
So it is 8 by 25. The house is 25 foot wide.
Okay.
It's 27 feet to the shoreline,
It's 27 feet.
yes.
Is that a concern with water setbacks, or no? There I go again.
That's a point of discussion.
Now, you're talking about water setbacks. We never have had anything less than a minimum at high water on Unacononuck Pond, nothing less than about 25 feet to the front of the building from the water's edge. And we own to the water's edge on all of the three areas.
That, the water where the property lies, the two buildings,
Yeah.
is approximately 30 to 40 feet away from the pond where it stops.
Yeah.
So,
And right now, it's,
now we have 60 feet. Not quite, not quite. But it doesn't get up high where it's only 15, 18, or 20 feet. It doesn't come up any higher, even in the full summer. You can look at it if you want. Be my guest.
I was up there today.
Yeah, I figured you were. So you would know more about measurements than me. I just look at pictures.
All right, I had a 100-foot tape in my hand,
How far was it?
so basically 27 feet to the shoreline from the edge of the deck.
No.
you're talking the water is 27 feet?
No, to high water line.
Oh, the high water.
Oh, okay.
Like
The
That's
this
what
high
it
one?
counts.
water line was 27 feet, okay. I thought you was, I misunderstood what you said too. Okay, the high water, yeah, which is approximate. to
The
what I
normal
said.
level of the pond,
Mm.
based upon the dam height at the
Yeah.
outlet's height.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even consider disagreeing with you on that, because that's your stuff.
Yeah.
That's your stuff.
Emily?
I looked at the handout we just got here, and it says that the Conservation Commission reviewed and discussed and voted to recommend to the ZBA to grant the variances to allow the deck to remain with the condition that the stairs coming off the deck be no closer to the water than the deck currently is. It was suggested that they could build off the side of the deck to create no further impact closer to the water.
Yeah,
Are you
I
gonna
think
build off the
that's what
side?
he left was that one side,
Okay,
on the side where the stairs would go.
okay.
When you
Okay.
face the house from the pond,
Mm-hmm,
the exit door is on the left-hand side of the deck.
okay.
And right in front of the door is a hot tub
Mhm.
Okay,
on the deck.
then that's kosher. Okay.
Oh,
No.
right in front of the door? As in, you can't open the door?
I didn't go up on the deck because there's no access to the deck.
Oh, okay, yep.
They must hop in from the kitchen door then.
Well, the kitchen door is probably
I mean,
opens up enough for them to
that
know.
back front door, if it's
It's not a
that.
big hot tub, it's like 4-foot diameter,
Oh,
Oh, okay.
5-foot diameter. It's a 250-gallon.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I've seen those before. They're like, some of them are inflatable like that.
Did you read from Conservation Commission minutes?
There's
Um,
an email from Patty.
There's an email.
Did you, I have a copy of it.
Everybody should have a copy.
somewheres.
Thank you, Billy. Because that was a concern, I hadn't seen that. Thank you,
Well-
Emily. That was,
If I might,
Yes, sir.
another issue with Class 6 roads, that they need to go before Planning Board for comment to go to Board of Selectmen for approval. So that's another, there will be, depending on what happens here, there may be additional steps. So I'm just making sure everybody is aware of that as well.
Thank you. I was not aware of it. There's always one more step.
Well, they-
I used to be chairman of the paper roads
oh,
when we were doing away with everything.
Okay.
That was quite a while ago. Evelyn Miller headed up the Conservation Commission. And I've forgotten the one that lives up on the higher up.
Sue Tucker. Sue Tucker,
Sue Tucker. yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Sue was the assistant. She
Yeah.
was on my committee too,
The Paper Roads Committee.
paper roads. And for the sidelight, for the darndest of me, I don't know where any of the records were. They were in a file cabinet in the next room. I asked Patty about it one time and somebody else, and nobody knew anything about them.
Well, they're still coming up with some. Every once in a while, they come up with some paper roads that they still hadn't been mapped out yet. They're still out there. There's some out
Wow.
there, but they did a great job.
Yeah.
Did a great job in mapping the paper roads. That was quite an issue, because there were so many of them.
Yes.
There were so many of them, nobody had any control over paper roads. So, good job.
Could
I
you,
remember that.
We spent a lot of time and a lot of footwork
Yeah,
going around.
who did?
ma'am, could you just take your application and just review the 5 conditions for a variance and your responses to those, please? That would be on page 2. Do you have a copy?
Yes.
On page 2, starting with number 1, granting the variance, could you please read into the record what your response has been?
Replacement of a porch that was there before and had been removed to repair a wall that was holding the house up
How about number 2?
30 feet from the water. I put in there. The replacement of the same size porch, which I didn't know about, that was there for 10 years. The porch was there 10 years before it was removed to fix the house wall. I'm very simple. It gives an exit to the house in case of a fire.
Because the existing door,
The existing door is at
the
the
kitchen,
kitchen,
is on the back of the house.
and this is the back,
Okay.
which I call the front because it faces the lake.
All right. Can you go on to number 3, ma'am?
Yeah. It would increase other property nearby. It was built in good taste and structure design. Returning it to an original look that would increase the properties and safety issues. Is being put back as it was when purchased it, and rotting boards needed to be replaced. It is needed because it is an exit in case of fire, etc., given a front and a back exit for safety. It will bring in whole property values as they were before, and a safety factor as well. I think that's all I did.
Okay.
I think when Ed came over with these papers, he said just do
page 1 and 6.
Okay.
Oh, this is a, yeah, print and fill out 1 and 6.
So according to the tax card, there was no deck on the house
Oh, you need that?
initially.
Sorry.
There
Just the
wasn't a deck
porch.
off the back? No?
No, there was a porch. There was a set of steps down to the lake
Right.
from the door. Now there's a deck. It was a porch with steps down to the ground. There was a landing in front of the door and steps down to the ground.
Right, a landing.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking of, exactly.
And, I mean, one of the things that concerns me about this is the current condition of the property. If there's no secondary egress in the event of a fire or an emergency from it, other than going out and jumping off a 6 or an 8-foot deck, it strikes me that that's somewhat a perilous condition, particularly on a Class 6 road. So, I mean, I don't have a great problem if the Conservation Commission doesn't feel that it violates the spirit of things. I'd like the Conservation Commission's recommendation, but I think something needs to be done, because it seems to me there's a big safety issue in not having a secondary egress that doesn't require an 8-foot leap.
Yeah, there is no stairs here.
From my
There
understanding,
are no stairs here.
No,
I'm sorry.
but that's a comment that the Conservation Commission made, because they went out and looked at it.
Right. and
It
that's-
wasn't, they had to put stairs down to the ground,
Right,
and what they said was not towards the lake,
but,
and not towards one side where the property line is within 2 feet of one side of this house.
Mhm.
So it's got to be on the west side of the house.
I'm just concerned if it's currently occupied with no secondary egress, then you've got a safety issue.
From my understanding, the Mark Tessier, the building inspector, was made aware of this and kind of stopped work, and I believe that's why the stairs haven't been completed at this point in time. I believe they'll still have to complete a building application permit to go before the planning board, for comment to Board of Selectmen, before the building application can be completed, depending on what this board does, so.
Formally,
we can condition.
And there's also the potential shoreland
yeah,
protection.
there's a shoreline permit that has to be achieved.
Yep,
You get the Board of Selectmen action and the Planning Board action
Yeah.
before they would, before they would get final approval for this.
got their hoops to go through.
Okay.
So it really wasn't built to the same size as what they had, but...
You can see the porch in the picture. In
This
your-
porch?
No, in the
Oh, in-
file, there's an aerial photography.
Yep.
It shows, if you look at it closely, you'll see a set of steps coming down from the back of the house.
Could I see that aerial
Oh, yeah.
shot?
Oh, it's that one. Is it?
But they are.
You came up with that picture,
Excuse me.
which is good.
And if you
There
look
should
at
be-
this colored one,
Yeah, I see it, yeah.
You can
I
see-
see the stairs.
you can see the steps
About a
off the back of the
third
house.
page, a third of a page, the one that she's looking at. The,
Oh, okay, I see it. Yeah, but I
I'm
can't,
looking at a White House.
yeah, I don't see it on my
Looking at a
pages.
White House.
now that's in taking the picture or developing it.
Jeff,
Oh, 'cause I was gonna say, I never
This
have a
picture
White
here?
House.
Yeah.
Never
you can see the stairs
house.
sticking out from the back,
They gotta be-
Oh, I see them now, yep, they're heading towards the lake.
heading towards the lake.
Okay,
That was the extent of what was there beforehand.
okay.
When I started to say, I don't know how, or what the conditions were that you all had gotten, the town or whomever had gotten aerial photos, because that's an aerial photo. And there should be a photo before that shows that plus the other 21 McFarland
Yeah.
should, so that should give you a good picture or a good idea
other
of the
house.
situation, not just that one shot. Because I remember several times there's been an aircraft circling around, and I knew darn well, I was gonna say damn well, but they were taking pictures.
Why
of
do
the
they
area.
do that?
And I didn't know who was doing it.
Why do they invade someone's privacy by riding around taking pictures of people's homes? What's the reason for it?
You have to ask the Board of
There's a,
Selectmen.
the Board of Selectmen make that decision, but probably to assist the assessor in determining assessment for your property. It's probably updating tax maps. It could be that,
Do they take pictures of every home in Goffstown?
yes. They came down
That's
my driveway and
interesting.
they took all four sides.
Wow,
My driveway's 900 foot long,
big picture.
They were determined.
okay?
Wow.
Yes, Gail.
When you were commenting about the old porch being taken down, you said they had to repair or replace some boards and concrete. That, if I remember correctly from the Conservation Commission meeting, that was to the foundation of your house, correct?
Yeah, it was the upper part.
Okay, so the porch had to come down so that work could be done?
No,
Oh, it didn't?
it was in the same area. The concrete was so old
Right,
that it was splitting.
right.
So just by replacing the concrete that was there, it didn't add any closer to any other
No,
land.
but did the porch have to come down to access the
Yes,
concrete?
yeah,
Okay,
because it was hard to get underneath with
that's what
the,
that's what I wanted to know.
wheelbarrow.
Thank you.
yeah.
Okay. Jeff, you got any questions?
Well, I don't want to redesign this for them, but I have a question. Are those 2x4s holding the deck up?
You mean the 4x4 posts?
If they were 4x4,
Yes, they were.
they were?
Yeah. The question is the screws.
Okay.
Okay.
But that's the building inspector, he already
Yes,
knows.
Okay.
can we, zoning. Zoning, please.
Okay. Kathy?
I'm all set.
Len?
I'm all set,
Emily?
trying to find a map. It doesn't,
Is there anybody in the audience wishing to speak in favor or against this application? Seeing none,
Nope.
I'm not going to close the public hearing because I need to take a vote on regional impact.
I'll make a motion to find the application has no regional impact.
A second.
Seconded by, Kathy.
Got it.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Now I can close the public hearing.
So my family has been in this town since just after 1800.
Shut up.
Daniel Merrill married one of my ancestors and moved into
You're really going into your memory.
That's okay.
I can't think, where the town hall, where the center used to be.
Grassmere?
Get Grassmere, oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Jeff, you will be the voting member on this one.
Okay.
The public hearing has been closed. I'd like to go around and ask for comments or whatever anybody might have. Let's start with Emily.
Well, since the Conservation Commission doesn't have any problem with it, I don't see an issue.
Len?
I only think that perhaps it would be wise to, and again, without trying to design, but just making sure that finishing the stairways and dealing with the safety issues are, a condition of the approval.
Okay. Gail?
I'm in agreement with both of them.
Kathy?
I am in agreement with both of them, and I really feel that the stairs are an issue. and possibly should be a condition, just to be sure that we lock that in, because from what I'm reading here, it doesn't lock it in. It says with the condition that the stairs coming off the deck, but there's,
The Conservation Commission doesn't lock it in anyway, they're just suggesting to us.
right, and for safety reasons, the stairs, I mean, that's important.
Right.
And that's why I would like to condition that we can approve the deck with the condition that the stairs, that there are stairs coming off the deck, but no closer to the water than the deck currently is.
I would suggest we add to the side of the deck. That's
Yes.
one of the things the Conservation Commission asked.
Yes. Yes. And with that condition, I would approve this.
Jeff?
I'm good. I'm good.
I just as a note from the chair, when I was up there today, I wandered around the rest of the neighborhood. And found that there's buildings and structures up there closer to the water than as indicated by this application,
Mhm.
by my observations in the field.
Yes.
And I'll leave it up to the building inspector to do whatever he needs to do.
They have a lot of hoops to go through.
And there are some other portions of this application that will take some time to get before the appropriate board. So seeing that, is there any further discussion?
I'll make a motion.
Please?
I'll make a motion to approve the application as requested with the condition that the stairs are coming off the side of the deck and they're no closer to the water than the deck currently is.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a seconded. Any discussion on the motion?
Do we need to specify which side of the deck they're coming off of? No?
No.
Because it's a 2-foot setback on the one side, you said, right?
Yeah,
So we got to tell them to make sure it's on,
the west
Yeah.
or
side.
no?
No, because the variance doesn't include it being within 2 feet of the setback.
No, but
There's no variance requested for that. So it can, they would have to come back for another variance.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay.
okay,
Gotcha.
so that this motion becomes all-inclusive, are we adding, making sure that all of the applicants' assertions or concerns, because there is a dimensional variance, and then there's a non-conforming structure on a Class 6 road that also has to have a variance. So does a motion carry all of those? Would you like to amend your motion to cover? And then, 13.3 is the dimensional regulations, but 14.9 is the non-conforming use.
No, I would, my motion would include them both.
Okay?
I agree. My second stands with it.
Okay, so we don't have to have but one vote on this particular project. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. You have a deck.
Thank you.
Well, they've got the stuff.
You still have to get approval from a couple other,
I know, I
Boards
think
in town.
4.
Paper road.
Thank you so much.
thank you for coming.
Thank you.
I hope you feel better soon.
Hopefully.
Thanks for coming.
When I wake up, someone always says, "How do you feel?" And I always say, "I'm breathing. I think I'm all right." Thank you very
Thanks
much.
for coming.
You're welcome, thank you.
Patience.
Thanks for coming.
I
Have
think
a
I'm
nice
still
evening.
breathing, it's pretty good.
If it hadn't been from the chairman, we'd have had to come in the back way. We were trying to get out of the elevator.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
You're trying to get out of the elevator, I had to open the door for him.
yeah.
The cane makes some noise on the window.
No, I'm gonna keep going.
Well, they might need some-
Thank you. Terry?
Oh, thank you very much.
Do you folks need some assistance getting outside?
Do you need some
Any
help
help?
getting out?
Do you need some help getting out to your car?
There's a young
I
man
don't
right
know,
there that's gonna help
how
them.
it-
Make sure they get in the elevator.
Alex will help you right there.
Good.
I think we should go.
We need a runner and an assistant.
5-minute break, please.
We're a full service
While we
board.
empty the room here and just
No, we're gonna
help
just
some
make
people
sure
get
they-
out. Gloria Pelletier, applicants, owners, are seeking a variance to allow a 28 by 34 garage, I need one of those, 16 by 20 breezeway, and a 14 by 16 deck to be built within the inner 50 feet of the 100-foot Wetland Surface Conservation District buffer. This concerns section 13.3.3.3 and 13.3.3.5 of the Goffstown zoning ordinance. The property is located at 46 Dene Park Road, map 23, lot 17, zoned residential 2. Yes, sir, come on up and join us, both of you, please.
Vote on regional impact.
I'll try to remember.
Excuse me?
No, she's reminding me of something humorous. I will take a motion for regional impact.
I make a motion that there's no regional impact.
I'll second.
Seconded by Emily.
And who's voting on
You
that?
Lynn, your vote.
Okay,
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Well, good evening.
Good evening.
Could you talk to the board about your application and address the categories of the zoning ordinance as requested by the two earlier cases? And we'll probably have a couple questions when you're done.
Could
So
you tell me
please.
your names first? I'm sorry.
My name is,
Your names?
I almost had a chance to say that. Please state your names, please.
Mario Pelletier.
Gloria Pelletier.
Good
She's my
evening.
wife.
That's okay.
We thought you were twins.
Could you
Look
explain
that way
your
'cause we've been
project and
married so
also
long.
address those items and criteria for granting the variance, please?
The reason for the variance is because of the 100-foot water buffer, that otherwise there would be no need for a variance, but that is the case for it. And what we want to do is build like it says on there, a 16 by 20 breezeway with a garage. And the reason for the wetland is there's a brook in back of the house. And I don't know if I don't think the ZBA had the map of how many feet it is from there you go. I measured out the whole distance from the house to the brook, from the deck to the brook, as you can see here. And that's the reason for the variance. We went through the Board of Wetlands, which they didn't have a problem with. But we also have to go through the zoning board, and here we are.
Okay, so you've been to the Conservation Commission,
That's correct.
and they've listened to your presentation,
Yes.
and they voted to recommend the granting of the variance as there are no ecological impacts and there's no significant impact to the spirit of the Wetland Surface Water Conservation District buffer. And could you address the 5 criteria? And if you don't have a copy, I have mine here.
Oh, okay. Yep, we do have it.
For granting the variance, if you could please address those and, as you've written, and add any other information you'd like to state.
Okay. Starting with the variance.
Part? Is that-
Yes, number
Variance
1,
part.
starting with
No, right
number
here.
1, please.
Oh, number 1, okay. Granted, this would be, okay. It would be an improvement to the property and curb appeal. Also, the existing structure would have already existed before,
The new
No.
zoning had changed.
if the new zoning hadn't changed prior to the
Okay.
water. 2, we have our existing house with a pool and shed
Bless you.
on the back of our house, which have been there over 25 years before the zoning had changed, which,
Okay, that was in the last 15 years that they came up with the Wetland Conservation Commission district.
that long already?
Yes?
Yeah, but it's only been recently that they changed it from 50 to 100 feet setback. Because we used to be 50 feet, and then they changed it to 100 feet.
Correct.
Okay, that's the one I'm talking about, I
Yep,
guess.
the 50 and 100-foot setback, yeah. That's the big issue.
Well, it just would improve the 40-year-old property.
Yeah, the house is 40 years old that I built with my dad, and it just been wanting a garage for a long time, and now maybe finally I'll get one.
Won't have to shovel snow off the car anymore.
Okay. Continuing to the following page, please.
By upgrading our property, we improve the value of the surrounding neighborhood also.
The question you had said at the very beginning, how does it improve the neighborhood? And,
Right.
yeah, well, if you've driven by our house, you
I
can
did.
see that it needs more than a lot of TLC, and I think a lot of the neighbors would like to see that updated.
I think that's great. I think when people, take that on, it's just, it's one of those questions that I just,
know.
I'd love to see some factual thing about it, but I drove by the property. I thought the property
It's time.
looked like it could handle what you're talking about, but
Right.
we'll continue with this. And
Do you want me to continue in that?
Yeah,
Yes,
5A
please.
and 5,
Okay.
Okay. Sounds pretty repetitious.
Yeah, we're looking to improve and upgrade our property. House was built prior to the new setback with the shed and pool behind our house already existing. So that's why we didn't think it would be a problem to get a variance, but
That's why we're here.
but you did submit a plan showing, well, I don't know who did the plan, but I have a copy of a partial plan, obviously, that shows your site, the location of the existing house and pool,
yes.
and the extent of wetlands. Does that brook have a name?
No.
Not that I know, no. It's just a little thing, probably the width of the,
I don't know if
even
you walk
it's
the
this
property,
wide.
it's
Oh, yes,
just,
I was out there today.
okay.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Okay.
You were taking a nap.
When,
No, we were gone today.
how far, when it was flooded, when we had the floods?
It
Yeah.
never came out of it.
How far, did it get to your garden?
It didn't,
No,
no,
it didn't even come out over the top.
it doesn't come out,
And that was
no.
that Mother's Day flood.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was close, but probably about this far from the top.
If you go to the 114 Mast Road intersection, the lights, that drainage goes up there a couple hundred feet and stops. It doesn't go all the way to the old ice pond. And that, all it does is drain that area down through and under Mast Road, and then down through the, alongside of Denny's Road, and then it goes all the way down the river.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it doesn't get any bigger than what it
I was
is.
just curious I was just curious how it handled all
Yeah.
that water. That
We were very
my
fortunate,
concern.
yeah.
Yeah, you're lucky.
And
There's usually about 6 inches of water in it. This year, there's a little less, but, and it's probably like this wide here.
this isn't the time or the place, but how come something like this wouldn't be grandfathered under the old wetland boundaries?
Because in the required wetland setbacks, any defined surface water is now 100 feet, doesn't matter when.
Okay, so it's immediate, there's no grandfather?
Correct.
Okay, that's,
Is there water in it right now?
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Now, because of a shortage,
Right.
really.
Sounds kind of nice to have.
It's great for the birds.
Yeah, I bet. And the deer.
Yeah, oh, we had 6 of those today.
Did you?
Yeah.
I live down
Mamas
below
and 4
you.
babies.
Well,
Lynn?
Is the breezeway, looking at your plan here and looking at the photo of your property on the card, is the breezeway you're proposing, that's going to link the house and the new garage, is that going to replace the stairs and the decking that I see on the end of the house, or?
Yes, that breezeway is an open breezeway. It's just going to be open, just a roof to go from the house to the garage.
Keep the snow off your head?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I mean, I'm looking to, I see basically you got 2 disconnected pieces. You got that piece, and then you're proposing a deck to connect the back of the house to the pool.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
correct.
I mean, looking at it, the way you proposed it from the end of the house, it doesn't appear to me that you're getting any closer to the wetlands than the existing pieces of the property. The pool
Right, yeah.
is still going to be closer to the wetlands than new construction you're proposing.
Yeah. And the shed down below is way closer too, but, yeah.
oh yeah, yep. I thought the footbridge was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Gail? Do you have any questions of the applicant?
I have none.
So they're also asking for variance to build is it the deck or is it a porch, screen porch?
It's a deck.
Just a deck?
Well,
Yes.
No roof?
No.
The one out back?
Right.
Oh,
Well,
yeah,
behind the house.
behind the house, yeah, it's just
Okay.
a deck.
Is there any, the
The
existing?
measurements that you've got on the plan, is that to the edge of asphalt in front of the house?
That's to the, yes, that's to the asphalt, correct. The
Okay.
road,
To
the
the
Danish
road.
Park Road.
Right. Okay, because I know from, I'm being familiar with that road, that the road is not in the center of the right-of-way. It's to your side,
Oh, is that
not the
right?
other side.
What's that mean?
If you look at the poles on the road,
Yes.
the next house down, on the opposite side of the street, the pole is 11 feet in from the edge of pavement.
Holy cow.
So the road does all kinds of, it's not exactly in the
Things.
center of the right-of-way.
All it does
Not
this to our
right.
house, too. I don't know if you noticed that.
But I did find one of the pins, so it was
Oh, at the
pretty,
end of the property?
Yeah.
Yes.
so I did find one of the pins, and it seems to be accurate based upon the plan, so I don't have any further questions. Is there anybody in the audience wishing to speak in favor or against this application? Members of the board, you got any other further questions before I close the public hearing?
One question.
Yes, sir.
The new deck is going to connect to the deck that goes around the pool.
Correct.
Are they going to be the same height?
No,
They're going to be a step up or step down?
that's
kind of
correct.
thing, right?
A step,
Okay.
the new one's a step up from the deck.
Okay.
From the pool deck.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds nice.
Did he finish reviewing the criteria?
Yes. Members of the board have any further questions? Seeing no questions from the public either, I will close the public hearing. Members of the board, discussions in reference to variance application. And Len, you're the voting member this time.
I think it looks like it's pretty well put together myself.
I don't have any issues with it at all.
Yeah, I like it.
Len?
I'd concur. I think the way it's proposed so that it goes no closer to the wetlands and stuff
Right.
that's existing already is the right way to do it.
Emily?
I'm not sure that's accurate because, I think the garage is going a little bit closer to the wetlands.
But you've
I
got
mean,
a,
I
you
don't
got
see
a
it.
pool, you got a pool and a deck that are
Oh, it's not
even
closer than
further.
that. Yeah, it's certainly further away
Wait,
than
if it
that.
were built off the back of the house, it'd be a different story, but it's pretty much in
Okay.
line with the property.
I just didn't understand what you meant.
Gail?
Okay.
No, I agree with Len. It's these additions that they're putting on are not any closer to the water than anything that they've got there now, and the comments of the Conservation Commission, just reflect that.
Okay.
That they don't have the concerns.
All right. Chair doesn't have any comments or questions. I heard that.
Everybody else.
And I'm hard of hearing. Then I'll call for a vote.
Vote. We need a motion first.
Yes, please.
I make a motion to grant the variance as
As presented.
as presented.
Second.
Got a motion by Kathy and seconded by Len. Any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. You have no
Joy.
other place to go?
Finally gonna
It's a
get
go.
that
We go.
garage.
Everything's a go. It's gonna look great, too.
So, we're good?
You're good.
You're
go.
good. You can go and
See the building inspector?
see the
got
building
your
inspector,
variance?
fill out an application and
Have fun.
meet his requirements, and you're be happily on your way.
And I'm
Yep.
so excited.
Good for you.
Enjoy.
Find out the building projects are tough on marriages.
I think it's gonna look really good when you're done.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You did a good job doing the
Invite you
presentation.
all for a cup of tea or something. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Enjoy.
Bye.
So I'm going to get into the last application tonight. Luke Nelson, applicant owner, is seeking variances to remove existing trailer and rebuild a single-family home on a lot that only has a half acre, whereas 1 acre is required. Another variance is required to build a home within the inner 50 feet of the 100-foot Wetland Surface Water Conservation District. This concerns Table 4.3 to Table of Dimensional Regulations, 13.3 of the Wetland Conservation District, and 13.3.5 of the Goffstown zoning ordinance. The property is located at 93 Mountain Road, map 4, lot 95, zone residential 1. This is in your neighborhood.
It's right down the street from me.
Sir, would you like to come up and introduce yourself?
Before we start that, can I say something or ask something?
Certainly.
Thank you very much.
The Conservation Commission didn't get to hear this applicant, or didn't discuss this application because the applicant wasn't there and they had far too many questions to make opinions on their own. So they continued it, so we don't have comments from them. Do we want to go forward, or do we want to reschedule until after they have been to the Conservation Commission, and the Conservation Commission can comment back to us?
Boy.
And
This will be a discussion with the board here for a second.
if I may, I would concur with Gail also, given what I think are some fairly special conditions of the property, proximity to the old ice pond, the water issues. I would like to hear comment from the Conservation Commission before going forward on anything like this.
I would too, and I would think that they would come out to be beneficial for the applicant. Having lived in that area for all the floods that have gone through, I think it will be interesting to see what the Conservation Commission does come up with, but I hope it will be in the best interest of the applicant.
I have a comment, if I can talk, actually.
Let me get to it, because I will let you speak to that point and see what your comments are, whether it's your decision.
Right.
Whether you move it forward with the application tonight, and without... Yes, it is.
No, I
Yes,
disagree
it
with that.
is. Yes, it is.
No,
What? No, I would prefer,
I didn't say I wouldn't prefer it.
no, but it's still not his decision. We can choose, without having the Conservation Commission's input, we can choose to reschedule it till next month.
I'm not sure.
then he doesn't have to. We can entertain, right now, we can entertain a motion to reschedule this application until the next month's meeting.
I'll explain to you what I think.
My concern is that if he presents everything now, yes, the public hearing would still be held open, so he would be able to add additional comments, but we should do it all at once. It's a time-saving factor for one, and he can address the Conservation Commission comments in the midst of everything else, instead of having to backtrack and work around things.
Correct. Correct.
So that's my 2 cents.
That's okay. We're all here for, and everybody has a comment. Emily?
I don't think it would hurt for us to find out what the basis of his application is at this point. It's pretty clear we'll have to probably revisit it next month anyway, but since he's here, we could use the fact that he's here to at least get some familiarity with the property.
Sounds fair.
Kathy?
I'm sitting on the back. I guess I don't have a problem with him giving his presentation. I just don't want to get into a board discussion after the presentation until we do get the Conservation Commission. You know, I'm taking, like, I'm trying to find a norm here, and he is here, and I would like to hear what he has to say, but I want to take that and digest it with what Conservation is going to say. So at that point, after he presents it, I would like to say, thank you very much. Now, we'll continue it to the next meeting. And after we'll continue to the next zoning board meeting next month, pending so we have time to review what the Conservation Commission input will be.
Jonathan?
Basically, speaking with Patty and speaking with the applicant previously, that it's within the inner 50 and that, we made the applicant aware that they needed to go to CONSCOM for review. I'm not sure why they weren't at the Conservation Commission. I know Patty did call and contact all the applicants that were required to go to the CONSCOM. Conservation Commission is an advisory board, but I understand that their input is significant. So it's whatever you guys determine this evening, how you'd like to proceed. You have the option of, continuing it if you'd like. You have the option of making a determination one way or the other. It's however you all would like to proceed.
Len?
I would only say, I concur with Kathy in large part. I think it'd be all right, take the applicant's testimony, what he has to say tonight, but at that point, we do not deliberate on anything until the next meeting, after we've had the opportunity to get input from the Conservation Commission, which could figure into the deliberations.
Jeff?
I agree. I think since he's here, and we might be able to get some things kind of nailed down a little bit, and when he moves forward, we'll see him again at the beginning of the month.
But the whole idea is we're not going to open it up to asking questions of him. We're going to listen
fine
to
with
what he
that.
has to say,
Okay.
and then wait, and then get back to Conservation and digest. Is that what you feel, Emily?
Well, I think that there's something that's pressing or obvious, we should be able to ask a question.
I would believe that the members of the board will have an opportunity to ask questions that could prep the applicant's response at a later date also. So that if you ask a question, it would give him the opportunity, if it was a question that didn't have an immediate answer, that there would be an opportunity for him to come back to us with a concrete answer to that question.
That would be a good thing.
Yes, it
That would be a good thing.
Okay.
So,
I was hoping-
the quandary.
Okay.
I, for one, would like to hear his presentation.
Me too.
And then we continue it.
And then it would be continued by motion. And I'll keep the public hearing open.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. It sounds like a consensus.
Boy. Luke, you have the floor.
All right, few things. There's a reason I would think that there would be no reason for me to go to conservation land for the request. I talked about it with a few people about it. And the reason is, there's a house across on the other side of the river from me that is literally 30 feet from the water line, and there's no issue with that. I am way further than 30 feet away from the water, and I'm up on a hill, so there'd be no impact on the river at all. And when they had the floods, we talked to the neighbor that lived across the way. When we had the floods over there, they had water right up to their back door.
Oh.
So they had water going right up to their house. They were putting sandbags there. I'm 6 feet higher than them,
Lucky you.
and it didn't even come close to where the trailer is now. I don't know if you guys have the map on there. So there shouldn't be any issue with the conservation. That's why we didn't think we even had to talk to them. Because there shouldn't be an issue at all, because we're actually, if you look at the house on the map that you guys have in your pamphlet, if you look at the house across from you up in the top right corner, that house is 33 feet away from the river.
Oh, I see. what
I'm
you're saying.
asking, I'm gonna be over 40 feet away, and I'm up on a hill. And I have a shed that's down in the right where the corner of my house is, that's existing, pre-existing. And that's like I don't know what it is, like 15 by 8 shed. And that's a freestanding building. That's only 20 feet from the water, and that didn't even get wet. So there should be no issue with the water, as far as the water. And actually, I could even have the house where it could be, I wouldn't even, in the old existing 50 feet mark, where it used to be from the water, I wouldn't even have to be here right now, except for the undersized land. You see what I'm saying there, but.
So you're saying if you rotated the house,
No, I mean, right now, I have it set as 40 feet. I mean, if you look at my measurements on my map,
Yep.
I mean, the house bigger, so you guys could see what the maximum would be on anything, but
okay.
the way we did it, just so we could get the approval to start building, because the biggest plan was, you guys want to push this back every month. That means I wouldn't get a foundation in until middle of winter, which I would be pushed back almost, 8 months on starting to build my house. If you guys do push this back another month, which is really gonna
Yeah, hardship.
kill me, truthfully. And what I have invested already in this. And right now, we're living with someone because we wanted to build a house. So you guys are, right now, we're living with someone just so we could start building our house. This is where we're gonna be living.
Okay.
I thought coming here that I had everything done that I needed to have done. Now this is like a shocker to me right now, truthfully, but.
All right. Len?
Can I address a question? This is actually for John, who may know. It's the southern property line here, the area above it, which is the old ice pond that sits up at the corner of Merrill Road. Is that a town property?
No,
I don't believe so.
no, it isn't. That property the ice pond is owned by the log home that's next to it. You go up Merrill Road. It's owned by
The
the-
log cabin,
cabin
that's the
owns
first
it.
one on Merrill Road.
Yeah, and that, he owned the beaver dam too.
Okay, because one of the things that I think the water concern here is, if you're familiar with the history of the
Yes, I am,
property,
yes.
there was a dam there that,
Yes, it broke. I found out when the dam broke, that's when the water came up to their house. So I guess when the dam broke.
You talking
But-
about the blue house, your neighbor next door?
Yes, next door to us, yes.
He
Yes,
was in his-
I've
He was
talked
in
to
his
him.
car with the kids, I think.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy.
He was in the car with the
but
kids.
the
Yeah.
concern also there would be, because in walking that area regularly, I'm seeing some beaver dam, you've got a water impoundment that's building up in the area.
Right, yeah.
directly
I've walked the
uphill.
whole river all the way, and we've walked the
So,
land.
I think there's, some concern there besides the undersized lot where you've got,
Yeah, where did you see the beaver dam at?
Can't really see it from the road. All I'm seeing is there's impounded water in the old ice pond area up there, whether it's a beaver dam or,
Right, up top,
Other
you're talking way,
natural
you're talking way up
things
top in
doing
the
it.
big, in the main part, right?
One part about this,
I'm talking before you get to Merrill Road. You can see it from the bridge.
Oh, okay, I got
from
you, okay.
Merrill Road.
All right, yeah.
Kathy?
the one part about this property,
Yep.
if I'm not mistaken, is that the area that is closest towards the pond, that used to be the pond, is a highly elevated area from
Right.
where you're going to put. It's almost like it was somehow that area looks like it at one point was a real dam or something.
Well, there was an old ice building, if you go to the back side of our property where it says like 11 on the back, on the map, there's an old, right behind that, there's an old ice foundation where it used to be a building there at one time.
Used to be an ice house. yeah.
Yes, exactly,
Well, it
yes.
used to be the ice pond for the town. For all, that was the ice pond for the town, for all the ice chests. That's where they used to cut up the blocks of ice.
You know, it's the same down at, in Bernardville, too. The old ice house.
I mean, it was such a nice pond. People would have their canoes out there.
I know, I heard it was nice, and then the
Yeah.
dam broke. I never got to see it before the dam broke, but that stinks the dam broke, and I'm surprised they didn't want to redo it, but,
Question.
yes.
Sewer and water.
Yeah, actually, we would be in all requirements for, the water's town water.
Yeah.
Sewer, there's if you look at the map, on the map, see where the swimming pool is, the circle on the map?
Yeah.
To the right of that, where the trailer, that's the trailer. Those two blocks, I don't know why they print out like that, but that's a trailer right there, full-size one.
Oh, okay,
Right, that's where the trailer is existing now. There's a building there now.
okay.
The existing septic is right at the end of the trailer, right there, and with it, right, almost where the 93 is, to the right of that a little bit. So really, alls we do for that, to make it, I mean, it would still be legal, we already talked to the septic guy about it, we would just turn the septic around. Put a new septic in and just turn it around, because right now that's obviously facing the trailer. So really, we would just turn it around and face the house. So nothing would change with the septic. The septic would actually be staying in the exact same spot. Nothing would even change on that for requirements on septic.
Was that a person in town you talked to about the septic?
Yes, for a person that has done septics in Goffstown before, yes. It was a business.
My concern about that would be, I would think,
Yep,
my concern about that would be based upon how many bedrooms you have,
right.
how old that septic
No, we're
system-
putting a brand new system, a brand new tank in.
Okay, so you're upgrading it.
So we're just turning, alls we're doing is putting a brand new tank in, but we're
Didn't hear
turning
that.
the way it's facing is all it is.
Okay.
But the area for where it is, it has the plenty of the maximum area it needs for a septic.
Your issue, unfortunately, here is that you are, unfortunately, within the inner 50 feet of the 100-foot wetland
Right.
setback.
If you
And-
think about the way the 100-foot works,
Well,
that would be on the other side of my land.
exactly, but I mean, it is the reason why you have to be here for a variance.
Right, I understand, yes.
As much as you understand, and you rightfully are saying, that you don't feel that the water is an issue. You present that very well, why it isn't an issue. And that's exactly what you have to say to the Conservation Commission. You have to tell them why it's not an issue. And I don't know, I can't get around that right now.
Well, I'm just, my question, I guess, is if this house is 33 feet away from the water line that's way lower than mine isn't an issue, how is mine an issue? Is my question.
It's because the ordinance says so.
I know, I guess I see that, but what, I don't understand.
It's quite finite.
When you're done.
But my comment is, why wouldn't you want to turn the house
Yeah.
90 degrees that already puts it just by the depth of the house outside the 50-foot line?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Because the 50-foot line isn't the line anymore, it's 100-foot.
No, it's a 50-foot, correct me if I'm wrong, it's 50 and 100, right?
Well, with the inner 50, it's ZBA.
Yeah.
Outer 50, it's planning board.
Yeah.
So the more stringent with the inner 50, hitting that would be the ZBA. And if not, then it would go to planning board with soil scientists and.
I even said we can do over 50. I don't even have to turn the house, I can move it over the extra 10 feet. I just made the house that big just
No,
in
because then
case.
you'll be in the front yard.
But it's still, either direction, whether it's the outer 50 or inner 50, you would either have to go ZBA or
Planning
planning
board.
board,
Well, the front yard is in
which
front
would
where the
still
trailer
require
is.
Conservation Commission
Comments, that's correct.
either way.
Yeah.
Either way, but the fact is that in the inner 50 feet, it's tough. I mean, if I could find a way to meet the front yard setback, the sideline setbacks, and turn the house 90 degrees so that it's the lengthwise and not this way on the site, and I could be outside of the 50-foot line, I would be hard-pressed not to recommend that to
But then, are we getting
the
into
applicant.
designing?
Yes, we are getting into design.
No,
The
what-
other,
Yeah,
the
but
other,
that's
Okay.
fine. I think we can do that tonight, because we're in a discussion of what we're thinking.
I can do the 50 feet off. I just did the 40 just because he said it would, I mean, I talked to Jonathan when I did this about the inner 50 and the over 50. We did the under 50 because we thought that's the way it was supposed to go for you guys.
Yeah.
So that's why I did the 40 feet. I can do 50 feet, no problem. That's not an issue.
Okay? But you'd have to still be here for the size of the lot.
Correct.
Right.
Right, that's why I'm here, really, but I thought that was the only reason I was here, but.
So if not, yeah, either process you go, you need Conservation Commission input. That's why Patty called and informed you guys that you needed to do that. If you decide, and again, I am just the information provider,
Yeah.
so whatever the board decides, if you decide to go within the inner 50, then it's ZBA for the variance for the inner 50 and the lot size. If you decide to go outside of the 50, it's the ZBA for the variance on the lot size, and then it's to planning board for the outer 50 of that buffer. So
So, right, so the under 50 is a better way to go.
I'm not the one to decide that. It's whatever you,
board you want to go
I have a
to.
question.
It depends
Right.
upon which
It's
board.
the
Do you want to take it to
applicant's-
the zoning board, or do you want to take it to the planning board?
Oh,
And either one you take it to,
Yeah.
conservation is there.
Right, so, all right, I got a question for
Well, then
you.
you have to go to
Yes, sir.
zoning.
Even if if I have to go to Conservation, could we vote on the approval of this?
No.
No, not that, I'm saying that if after, I mean, if we get the okay from you guys and I still get the approval from them, it's only approved if I get the okay from them, so I don't have to wait another month, is what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying?
No.
Say that again?
A clause, yeah, I don't think you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, he
do.
does. He wants us to make it, he wants us to
I'm saying
approve
you
it
could still vote on this
based-
as long as it's up to
based
them.
upon-
No, we
based
cannot.
with-
You're saying if we could vote on it and make it a condition?
Condition.
of the
Right, a
conservation?
condition, right, and if I get the approval from them, it would pass, because all you just need is that, all you want is their permission, right?
Actually,
We
they
don't-
make
Well,
recommendations.
it's an advisory opinion.
Yeah,
Okay,
their opinion is advisory, and it's not just because they're looking to keep your property safe from the river,
right.
but they're also looking for impacts on the river from your construction and from having a house in that location.
Okay.
And that's what we are looking for comments on, because they've got the expertise and we don't.
Okay, so you're looking for just the comments from them, not the approval, I get
Right.
you. Okay.
There's no easy sites in town.
Yeah.
Well, this has unique characteristics about this property. How many children do you have?
A daughter, 2-year-old.
God, I can remember that.
Wow.
Long time ago. Long time ago.
Wow.
All right,
How big is the house?
Well, I made it way bigger than I wanted, but I just did that so we could get the,
oh,
it's
you
actually.
don't want to make it way bigger, I'll forewarn you. The smaller you can make it, the better off you are.
Yeah.
Word to the wise.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, even with the water, I don't think they're gonna have an issue with it, because I mean, it doesn't make sense how they could have if they have an issue with mine, how is the house across the street not an issue?
see.
They're actually worse than I am.
See, the first
They may have been
note,
built before.
Yeah.
the first note,
One
on-
across the water, on the other side of the water, it's literally 30 feet from the water.
the note, the
the
first
blue
note I
house, I
wrote
mean.
on this application was, we should have a house plan on this one.
Well, we're zoning. I don't
No,
know.
no, he has to demonstrate that he can meet all the other requirements, because there's a lot of site modifications going on in that site.
Just stumps, that's all we've taken out.
Is that the house that has the bridge? Is that, that's not?
Yeah, the bridge, yeah, the
Bridge,
bridge
yeah.
is right in front, yeah.
Built that before they had this, the 100-foot.
Was it was before the 50-foot too? Because he's well within the 50 too.
Not sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
That road has been rebuilt.
Yeah. All right.
And he probably had to go to Conservation Commission. If that's the case, I mean, that's almost, it's like, almost a SOP, a standard operating.
You're right.
It really is.
Gotcha.
And it's unfortunate that you misinterpreted perhaps the importance of it, or misunderstood the importance of it.
Yeah, I definitely did on that one.
Yeah, yeah. And it's because you do, like I said, you do a nice presentation, you have your facts down about this property, you have studied it, and I can understand why you felt you could do it without having to go
Right.
there.
I get you.
However, that's the big but.
Any other board members have any other comments or questions that might lead to a different conclusion or reinforce your decisions?
I want to hear what Conservation has to say.
Ditto.
And as the chair, does somebody care to make a motion for continuance? Leave the public hearing open?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Gail. The motion is to continue until the next meeting, which is,
First of
I don't know, I gotta look. November 1.
I have a procedural question.
Yes.
Haven't there been times in the past when there's been issues like this, which causes a hardship on an applicant, where conservation somehow designates certain people to go to the property and then report back to the committee? Hasn't that ever, for some reason, did they do that with your property?
Yeah. Yes.
I would ask you, Jonathan, if perhaps you might
Pose the question.
pose the question to the Conservation Commission.
What was that question?
Just when there has been like a hardship in a situation where time is of the essence, the Conservation Commission decides to have a few of their members that are able and review the property on behalf of the commission. And then they work out how they share that information and come to a consensus timely. And
Well, the thing.
I know, what good would it do? We don't meet till the 1st.
Right.
The thing being that, as I transcribed the minutes to the Conservation Commission meeting, they had a lot of questions.
Yeah,
So they're not going to get their questions answered unless he attends the
okay,
meeting.
okay, yep,
And
good point.
So do they have a meeting? How does that work with, they have meetings here too, or?
Theirs was Wednesday night,
This Wednesday night?
last Wednesday
Last
night.
Wednesday.
When do they meet again?
October 26th.
Yeah, they'll meet October 26th.
So before,
We'll get their
okay.
comment by the 1st.
Okay.
But they had a lot of questions to ask you, and you weren't there to answer them.
I didn't
And
even,
it's something that they couldn't.
I never got I didn't get a letter for
Had gone to the
that.
property or reviewed it or were familiar with the property, but they couldn't presume the answers to the questions.
Right, I
They needed-
understand.
They needed you there.
The question is, the applicant here, was he ever notified
Yes.
of the meeting?
Of the meeting? No.
Yes. Patty called you by phone.
This is all.
Well, no.
Talk to me on the
No,
phone.
no, a written notification.
Of the Conservation Commission?
Yes.
No, this is all I
I
got.
believe so.
This is all I got. I didn't know about the meeting. But I would've went if I knew about the meeting.
Yes.
I didn't know, yeah, you never called, she talked to me on the phone?
Patty called, you guys, I believe she talked to your wife.
I simply think that the
You
burden
talked
of
to her?
taking
My
care
wife
of
could have the phone for a month.
Conservation
Her phone's
should
broken.
be on the
You
applicant.
talked to her? She actually talked to her on the
Our
phone?
function as
Really?
to attempt to expedite the proceedings of another board.
It's not.
Got a horrible memory, she's got a head injury.
I would suggest that you make immediate inroads with the Conservation Commission.
I will.
And see what you can, as the applicant, can get them to act in whatever fashion they must.
Right.
To be able to provide us with a recommendation. That's the best I can do.
That's perfect, no problem, I understand. I had a comment too, just for you. You asked about how, what proof that you ever had about the property going up in value around you.
Yeah.
There's a written thing about, from a realtor's, any house near a trailer is undervalued $20,000 with a trailer next to them.
Wow.
So your house property around you goes up about between $10,000 and $20,000 if you don't have a trailer next to you.
So as long as you're among houses,
Trailers are an eyesore.
Trailers
Considered an
are not
eyesore.
good.
Yes,
Okay, I
trailers
get
are
what
an
you're
eyesore.
saying.
So that's one reason.
okay, that's good. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that.
No problem.
So,
And you can't put a trailer on there.
Huh?
You cannot, you can't put a trailer on there. Do you know that?
Yeah,
We can't? What do you mean?
you
Well-
can't replace that trailer with another trailer, which we discussed. So you're
Oh, yeah, I don't want to live in a trailer.
That's how you would have to put a house on there.
Right.
We need a
all right,
vote.
then the motion and a vote has been made to continue this.
We didn't have a vote.
We had a motion?
We had a motion and a second, but we didn't have a vote.
Okay. I'll vote, I'll call the motion then. All those in favor of the motion as stated, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So the public hearing is still open. We'll take testimony on the 1st of November, and we'll make a decision that evening. That's probably the fastest we can do it.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for waiting through all the applications.
Yeah. I wish I went first. I don't have her call Christy Lee, because Christy Lee,
All right.
her memory, she has a head injury from a car accident. She has she'll lose her memory.
Is there any other
So,
discussions
have
to
them
come
call me.
before the board this evening?
I did not even know, never gonna call, never heard about it, but.
Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Need a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Good,
Opposed.
because you can stay here tonight if you want. I'm going home.